to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video is going to be another Instagram Makeup Queens challenge. Lorraine Johnson-Coleman started this group on Instagram to bring us makeup lovers together so that we could rejoice in our love and passion for makeup. Now, the idea behind this group is that Lorraine or another member of the group chooses a picture or an image, and then our job is to create a look based on the color scheme within that image. Now, this time around, Lorraine chose 6 images of doors, and I'm going to pop those pictures up so that you can see what our options are. Now, why doors? Well, women all over the world throughout history have had tons of doors shut in our faces. We've had to open these doors up ourselves. In some cases, we've actually kicked these doors right down to the ground in terms of our gender, our race, our socioeconomic status, our marital status, our religious beliefs, our education level. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And it took me quite a while to figure out which door I wanted to use to base my look on, and also how I wanted to apply this challenge to my life. I really wanted this to be like a really personal experience. And then a few days ago, finally, I had my light bulb moment. I knew exactly which door I was going to choose and exactly how I was going to apply this challenge to my life. About 5 years ago, I shut the door on female friendships. I had been in a very toxic friendship, and I just was so hurt, so let down, so betrayed, and just really felt like I could not trust women anymore. I have 2 friends that I've known since high school, and I just kind of figured, you know what, those are going to be my friends for the rest of my life. You know, I know them inside and out. They're wonderful people. And, you know, I'll be friendly, I'll be nice, I'll be civil, but for the most part, I'm going to keep women at a distance. I just don't want to let anybody too close to me anymore, because I just, like I said, I'd been so let down by this toxic friendship that I'd had in my life. But a few months before I started my YouTube channel, and obviously since I started it, and also since I started my Instagram account, that door that I put up against female friendships has been absolutely blown off of its hinges without any warning. I had no idea that I was going to find these kind of friendships again. I have met some of the most beautiful, wonderful, supportive, amazing women, and I just feel like they've absolutely changed my life. And I really believe that all of these friendships are going to last for the rest of my life. I really do. So this is the door that I chose to base my look on. And I think this is just perfect. It's called Purple Romance. I love the color story. We've got purples, blues, greens, got these beautiful flowers that are blooming. And it just reminds me of all the friendships in my life that are now blooming and blossoming. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but really that's just what I saw when I looked at the store image. Now, the palette that I'm going to be using is the IBY Beauty Enlighten palette. And this is the first time I have ever used this, and I just think this is a gorgeous color story. And I do have the IBY Beauty Desert Vibes palette, and then I do have a couple of their highlighters, and I love the performance of that other palette, and I love the highlighters, so I hope that I really like this palette too. And I think this is a really good match for the colors within that door picture that I chose, especially this part of the palette. So I'm really excited to use this today and create a look for the first time with it. Yay! So if you'd like to see my look come together using the IBY Beauty Enlighten palette for this Instagram Makeup Queens challenge using the door image that I selected, and also hear about my experiences with toxic friendships, but also the flip side of that, these beautiful, amazing friendships that are now in my life, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, let's get started with this look for the Instagram Makeup Queens challenge. Now, all of my face makeup is on, my eyelids are primed, and my brows are done, and that will all be in the description box in case you're interested in checking that out. I will be using the Enlighten palette from IBY Beauty to create this look today based on the color story that is within the door image. And I think what I'm going to do is start off with this shade here. This is called Haiku, and I'm going to put that in my transition area and in my outer V a little bit. And what I thought I would do is break down a toxic friendship into 5 different traits or characteristics. Now, I know that there's a million traits of a toxic friendship, but these are the 5 that really affected my life the most. So I just thought I would talk about these. The first trait of a toxic friendship is someone that is very controlling. My friend had a really hard time understanding that I was my own person, that she was her own person. She kind of almost looked at me like I was her possession or like an extension of herself. She would get really upset with me if like I had other friends in my life. Sometimes she would get really upset or irritated if I would like spend what she considered too much time with my own kids or my mom. Now, this didn't happen the whole time we were friends, okay? We were friends for about 4 or 5 years. But as our friendship went on, that just kind of became more of a prevalent theme. And it really caused a lot of problems because, you know, I didn't want to be treated like that. She had tons of other friends and, you know, family, kids, siblings, parents that she would spend time with all the time. And it never bothered me. I mean, of course not. And I love that shade. That's very pretty. It's a nice pastel periwinkle blue. I think it's very pretty. But it never bothered me if she spent time with other people. I mean, my God, what kind of person would I be if I would get upset about something like that? And, I would talk to her. I would say, listen, I don't know if this like makes you feel threatened or insecure, but you have to understand, like, you're always going to be my friend. I love you to pieces, but I do have the right to have other friendships and other relationships in my life. That doesn't mean anything negatively towards our friendship at all. And sometimes she'd like try to act like she was just kidding around, but really, it just really wasn't that funny. I was like, this is just very awkward and uncomfortable. And I don't know, I just didn't really like how controlling she was at all. It really bothered me. And I just think it's really important that, you maintain that boundary with people. Like if you have a friend that's starting to act like that or has been acting like that, and it's bothering you, I would just really make it very clear to that person that you do not like being treated that way, that you're your own person, that they don't have the right to do that to you. And, stand up for yourself. I'm very easygoing and very laid back. And sometimes that can be kind of a detriment to me because sometimes it's just like, I just like, well, I'd rather just not say anything. I'll just kind of keep my mouth shut and just, whatever. But I've learned that that's really not the way to handle things. Took me a long time to get to that point, but I don't really like confrontation or like arguments or anything like that. But, you can be assertive and not have it turn into this big, ugly scene. You just have to, have a backbone and stand up for yourself. And also, I really like to spend time by myself. Like that's one of the things I love the most about putting my makeup on is I can just kind of sit down in the morning, as I'm getting ready for work and just kind of like check in with myself, kind of like plan my day out, I just really enjoy that. And this person really did not like for me to really spend that time on my own. Now, this was way before I was into makeup. But, sometimes I'd want to take a nap or read a book. And, sometimes I would have to like shut my phone off because she just would not leave me alone. Like she just could not let me just have that time to myself. And of course, I would tell her, hey, relax, give me an hour or two. But, a lot of times that would just really bother her. And then it would really bother me. I hated that. Now I'm going to go into this color here. This is called Spa Day, and it's this very nice kind of darker periwinkle blue satin. And I'm going to put that in my outer V and into my transition area as well. Just kind of deepen this area up a little bit. The second trait of a toxic friendship is a friend that spends a lot of time talking very negatively about other people, like other friends or just other people in general. My friend really did that a lot and it really bothered me. And I would tell her all the time, like if she'd start doing that, I'd be like, listen, I don't want to hear those things. Like, half the time too, I was like, how do you even know that this stuff is true? She'd just say these just really ugly things about other people. And, like I said, when I'd ask her, how do you know this stuff's true? She'd say, well, so-and-so told so-and-so, and then so-and-so told me. And I'm like, yeah, well, sometimes by the time that story gets back to you, it's not exactly what happened in the first place. So, and it's kind of none of your business. So maybe don't say anything, And I think we all gossip. I mean, I know I've gossiped before. I mean, nothing major, but like, ooh, she's dating so-and-so, and ooh, look at that new car, whatever, to me, that's pretty harmless. But some of the things that this person would say about other people was very, very hurtful. And just made me very uncomfortable. And, she kind of had a reputation of doing that. And I remember thinking when we were friends, like, I certainly hope people don't think that I'm doing that. I would never want someone to think that, because we're friends, that I'm contributing to that at all. And another thing, and I would say this is probably 9 times out of 10, is that if somebody is saying really negative things to you about other people, they're probably saying really ugly things about you to other people. And I found out after I ended my friendship with this person that she had done exactly that. And I was just so hurt by that. She said some really ugly things. Now, how naive of me. Of course she was going to do that. I mean, she was doing that, like I said, to me about other people. So I don't know what I was thinking. But I don't know. I was just really hurt by that. And that was one of the main reasons why I just decided, after I ended my friendship with her, that I'm not going to have any more female friendships because it was just pretty ugly stuff that she had said. And very hurtful. So if you know someone that's doing that and it really bothers you, I would really make a determination if this is somebody that you really want to spend a lot of time and energy on, because, there's enough ugliness in the world. You need to pick friends that are positive and happy and spread light and love and not darkness and nastiness and yuckiness and poopiness. Ugh. I think this darker shade is just gorgeous. It's a really nice satin. It's got, it's not overly pigmented, but it's pigmented enough. I think it's doing really well, blending out, and I think it's adding the depth that I wanted. I think it's very pretty. And I do think these colors do a pretty darn good job of representing that door picture that I chose. I think I'm gonna go into this shade here. This is called Third Eye. I'm gonna put that down towards the outer part of my lid here, towards the outer V area. Let me grab a brush for that. And I think I am going to spray this too, because I think it's going to be a little folly outy. And because I have my face makeup on, we're going to have a mess. The third trait of a toxic friendship is somebody that betrays your confidences. I have always felt, ooh, that is really pretty. I have always felt that it's very important to have a friend in your life that you can share, you know, anything with. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, I think it's really important that we have that confidant in our life that we can be completely vulnerable with. I mean, we've all gone through things in our life that are really hard to get through. And I think it's important that you have somebody in your life that you can, you know, share those experiences with and, you know, just kind of vent to and process things with. And I think it's very important that they understand that that is not something that needs to be spread to everybody else around you. You know, I think it's important that they understand that, like, you're trusting them with very valuable, important information and that you don't want the whole world to know. And, you know, really, it's kind of common sense. I mean, you know, most people, I think, can determine whether or not something is, you know, important enough to somebody to like keep it to themselves, you know? And that is such a huge part of the type of friend that I am. You know, I want people to trust me. Trust is a huge issue. I really struggle with that. If I don't trust somebody, I just really can't have them in my life. I just can't do it. And this shade is so pretty. It's kind of like a purpley blue. It's like very kind of duochromy. It's really pretty. I love it. Like, it looks purple, but then it kind of looks blue. It almost has like a little bit of a pink reflect even. Ooh, I love it. I love IBY shimmers. They're gorgeous. They're really, really pretty. And I know that this person, while we were friends, did share some things with other people, a couple other friends of mine, just shared some personal details of my life that I had told her. And I'd asked her, you know, specifically said, don't say anything. And she did, you know, and that really bothered me. And I, you know, went to her and said, you know, I know that you've said these things and I don't understand. I asked you not to say anything. And how she responded was, well, it's no big deal. Like, it's a big deal to you, but it's not a big deal to anybody else. I'm like, okay, great. And, you know, that was another big part of why I finally ended our friendship, because it was just so ucky to like hear somebody say that to me. Like, it's important to you, but it's not important to anybody else. Like, what kind of friend says that to you? All right, now I think I'm going to go into this shade here. This is called Wealth. I'm going to put that down towards the front part of my lid. I just thought the blue and the green together would look really pretty, and I think it matches the image quite nicely. The fourth trait of a toxic friendship is jealousy. Ooh, wow. Oh, look at that. Woo, that's gorgeous. I love the two of those shimmers together. And I think it looks really nice underneath that periwinkle blue color. Yes. Oh, very nice. Jealousy is called the green-eyed monster for a reason. You know, it's just, it's so ucky to feel jealous. And, you know, I'm going to get a little philosophical here. I do think that society in general, like social media and just media, kind of pits women against each other in a lot of ways. You know, there's always this push to be better and thinner and richer and prettier and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I think sometimes what happens is that we look at other women, and especially if like we're insecure about ourselves, we can look at other women and feel less than. And so rather than like, you know, just kind of like letting that go, or just, you know, realizing that we're all different. I mean, how boring would life be if we were all the same? I mean, boring. But sometimes what happens is that we start to like dislike somebody because we view them as better, you know? And I know I've done that before in my life, you know, when I was younger, like, especially like in my 20s and stuff, I would just get all bent out of shape about things and be like, I hate her. And then once I really like got to know these people that I thought were so much better than I was, I realized that, you know, they were actually really cool people and that they were struggling with things just like I was, you know? I mean, we're all fighting a fight in some way or another, you know? And I think if we could all just kind of let go of that stuff and just understand that, like, you know, we're all different. There's going to be a better than, there's going to be less than, and that's okay, you know? But my friend was very jealous of my relationships with other people, obviously, like I said at the beginning. But she would also put me down all the time. You know, she would just say really kind of mean, nasty things like about my appearance. I remember one time we'd gone to the pool to go swimming, and she just absolutely ripped me a new one about how I looked in a swimsuit. And I mean, that's a very vulnerable time for me anyway, because, you know, I'm not a size 2. I have, you know, kind of a big butt and big legs, and I always have, and that's just kind of how I'm built. And I love the shimmer so much. I'm sorry, I know I'm talking about big butts, and then I go right to the shimmer. But hey, that's just what you're gonna get when you watch my videos. But you know, it's hard enough for me to get in a swimsuit, period, and then to have my friend make these, you know, snide, kind of rude comments, and then, haha, I'm just kidding. It's like, yeah, huh, hilarious. You know, it just was not very nice, and it really hurt my feelings. And also, if good things would happen in my life, she would act very jealous of that, you know, like, well, why is that happening to you and not to me? And I'm like, I don't know, but you know, you have good things happen in your life too. All right, now I'm gonna go back into this shade here, this shade called Spa Day, and just put a little bit of that down on the outer edge here. The fifth and final trait of a toxic friendship is anybody who has a really tough time meeting you where you are when you're going through a tough time. You know, we all go through trials and tribulations in our life, you know, whether that's the loss of a loved one, you know, a divorce, a loss of a job, maybe our kids are going through a rough time. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can all go through. And I think it's really important that your friend is there with you, you know, to sit next to you and hold your hand and help you through those hard times in your life. That is such an important part of a really good friendship. Now I'm going to do my lower waterline. I'm going to use the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Prance. I just thought this was a nice shade to go with the eye look so far. And I know that I've mentioned in another video, and I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail about this, but I lost my mom. She passed away almost 6 years ago. And, you know, obviously that was a very, very, very hard time of my life. And I really struggled with dealing with the grief after she passed away. And she'd been gone for maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And I was just really struggling with social situations. I just couldn't handle it. And I'm going to share a little story here. And this is what absolutely ended the friendship. This was like my maximum. I'm the type of person, as you can tell, that will put up with a lot of crap from somebody. But when I get to my fill, like I've had enough, like that's it. We're done. I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And I don't know that that's the most mature way of handling things, but that's just kind of how I've always been. Like, I'll give you a million chances, but once I reach my absolute limit with you, like, that's it. We're done being friends. Now I'm going to do my lower lash line. I'm going to start off with Haiku and put that down on my lower lash line. So my mom had been gone for about 3 or 4 months, and an acquaintance of mine was having a birthday party at a winery. And I don't drink, and I was not invited to the party, and that was fine. I was having a really tough time in social situations. Like I would get like almost claustrophobic and just kind of freak out. And I don't know, I just did not want to go to this party. So I was fine with the fact that I was not invited to it, you know. But my friend was invited, and she really did not want to go by herself. She wanted me to come with her. And I was like, listen, I was not invited to this party. That's going to be super awkward. I can't do that, you know. I'm sorry, but you know, maybe you see if somebody else can go with you. And she's like, oh, please, 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 please go with me, please. And I was like, no, I'm not going to the party. So this went on for about 2 weeks. Okay. She just kept asking me to go, and I kept telling her no. And, finally, the day before the party arrived, and she called me up and she asked me if I would meet her at this like outdoor mall here in town, and that we could go for a little walk together. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. We used to do that all the time. Now I kind of took that down a little lower than I wanted to, but I actually kind of like how that looks. I don't usually do that. All right, now I'm going to use this brush, and I'm going to go into, I kind of want to use that pink shade. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to stick with this here, because I know I'm going to use the pink for my lipstick. I'm going to incorporate the colors of the flower with my lipstick. So I'm going to go into this shade here again called Spa Day and put this in my lower lash line as well. So I go to the outdoor mall with her, and we're going on our walk, and she asks me again for like the 900th time if I want to go to this party with her. And I'm like, no. So I said, no, I don't want to go with you. And she said, why? Give me a good reason why you don't want to go to this party. And I said, well, I'll give you a couple. First of all, I was not invited to this party. And second of all, I just do not feel comfortable being in social situations right now. It's just too hard for me. You know, it makes me really uneasy. I feel claustrophobic. I'm grieving, you know, and I just cannot handle this right now. And I'm really sorry. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I just can't handle this. And so she stopped walking, and she looked at me and she said, I cannot wait for the day when you stop using your mother's death as an excuse not to do things with me. This is ridiculous. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you something. I said, her death is not the excuse, it's the reason why I can't do things like this right now. And there's a big difference between an excuse and a reason. I just cannot handle going out in public with tons of people around me who I haven't seen since my mom passed away, and they're all going to ask me about it. Like, how are you? How are you coping? What's going on? I just didn't want to deal with that. I couldn't deal with it, you know? And she just had absolutely no understanding of that. She could not be supportive of that at all. You know, it's like she just wanted me to be who I was before my mom passed away, which I understood that. I wanted to be that person too, but I just couldn't do that. And, you know, I just couldn't be that person at that time. So her response to me saying that to her was, well, I didn't act this stupid when my grandmother died. And I just was like, oh, that's it. So I just said, I'm going to go home. The walk's over. Leave me alone. Just give me some space. I said, I'm out of here. And I just left. I walked to my car, got in my car and went home. And she did leave me alone for a couple of days. She kind of, you know, backed off and, you know, gave me my space. Now I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to go into this shade here called Wealth. And I'm going to put that down towards the front part of my lower lash line. I always do that. So a few days after the walk and that whole conversation, she sent me a text. I was at work and she sent me a text and she said, I really would like to meet you for coffee. Can we do that? You know, I want to talk to you. And I didn't immediately answer the text. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like I thought, well, yeah, I guess we could meet, we could talk. But I had already made the decision that this friendship was over, you know, and I didn't want to do anything that would make her think that like it wasn't over, you know. And I didn't want to end a friendship by text, but at the same time, I just had kind of reached a point where I felt like that was like the best thing for me to do is just to be done and do it that way. And you guys might be thinking, oh, that's a really easy way out. And it was, you're right, it was. But I did finally, a few hours later, I sent her a text message back and I said, listen, I said, I just can't do this with you anymore. I said, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have a wonderful life. But I think that our friendship has come to the end of its road. Like I can't be your friend anymore. You know, you try to control me. You don't treat me very well. You're not supportive. And I just cannot do this with you anymore. And I'm sorry that I'm doing this by text. This is not the way that I think that this should be done. But this is, nonetheless, this is how I'm doing this. And, you know, I just can't be your friend anymore. And her response to that text was, I'm sorry you feel that way. And that was it. That was the last time I talked to her. All right, now for my inner corner highlight. I think I'm going to use this Moonstone shade right here. And I think too, what I might do is pop that underneath my brow bone. I think that would be gorgeous. I don't want to be like a pot stirrer or say anything, you know, nasty or negative about anybody. You know, that's not my goal in creating this video. But I just kind of wanted to explain, you know, what had happened and why I made the decision to just kind of like not really have any close female friendships in my life for a while. And I really, honestly, looking back now, I really regret that because what I did was I gave this very toxic person in my life a lot of power. You know, she had a lot of control in my life, even after I'd ended the friendship, because here I am not being friends with people because of something that this person did to me. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't see that at the time. I don't know why, but I couldn't. And looking back on it now, especially now that, like I said at the beginning, that I've gained all these wonderful, beautiful, supportive, amazing friends, and knowing that, you know, I kind of like kept these people out of my life. I mean, I guess I didn't really keep them out of my life because I didn't have a YouTube channel then. And of course I didn't have Instagram, but you know, I just feel kind of sad that I kind of like, I don't know, didn't allow those kind of friendships in my life for so long. Because I'm sure I could have found those friendships in other areas of my life, and maybe it was meant to be, you know, maybe this was just meant to be that I'm going to put this under my brow bone, or under my brow, on my brow bone, whatever. I just really, you know, am fortunate and happy and just thrilled that these friendships did finally find their way into my life, you know. You know, my subscribers are so wonderful. You know, people that I've met, obviously, like I said, on Instagram, fellow creators here on this platform. I mean, just unbelievable how supportive and loving and wonderful and caring they are. You know, and I know I say at the end of every video, you know, that it means the world to me that you watch my videos. And I know it probably sounds a little bit scripted, and, you know, I guess it kind of is because I kind of say the same thing. But what I really want you to understand is I genuinely mean that. I mean, it means so much to me, your comments, the fact that, like I say, you take time out of your day your day or night to sit down and watch me, my video. Like, that blows my mind. It's so wonderful and it means so much to me, and I do not take that for granted. I am actually, that I went a little ham there, so I am gonna go back in with my other brush. Where is it? There it is. And I am gonna put a little bit more of this Haiku shade down because I went a little bit crazy with the brow bone highlight, which I've known to do in my life. But you know, you guys have all really turned my life around. You know, you really made me realize that like people can be trusted and people do really care, and they are going to be there for you when maybe things aren't going the best in your life. You know, I've gone through some things in my life since I started my YouTube channel, and the support I have from people that I've never physically met. You know, how's your dad? How's your husband's finger? How are your kids? You know, it's just, I don't know. You guys have no idea how much that really means to me. And, you know, it's like I go on Instagram every morning. I take pictures of my makeup and I put it on there, post it on there for everyone to see. And it's just so nice, the wonderful comments that I get. And I love to go on other people's accounts or posts or whatever you call it and comment on their pictures because they're beautiful and it's so inspiring and so much fun. Both of these platforms, YouTube and Instagram, have just absolutely blown me away with how just amazing and wonderful people are. And it really made me understand that I was kind of being an idiot for not having or allowing female friendships into my life, because I'm telling you, these friends that I've gained, these bonds that we share, the sisterhood that we've created, I know it's going to last for the rest of my life. So I just really want to thank you guys for pulling me up out of that hole, kicking that door off of its hinges that I had put up against female friendships, and really making me understand and realize that I could still have wonderful, amazing friendships in my life. Thank you guys so very much. All right, so I think I'm pretty much done with my look. I do have a little bit of fallout, so I'm gonna clean some things up, add the finishing touches. I'll be right back to show you how everything came together. So please don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back. This is the finished look. I really like how this look turned out, and I love this eyeshadow palette. And I think I did a pretty decent job of sticking to the color story that was in the image of the door that I chose. I don't know that it's 100% spot on perfect, but I think I did a pretty darn good job. But before I talk about the eyeshadow palette, I did want to go over a few things that I used on my finished look today. For the liner on my upper lid, I used the Queen Nubia Cosmetics liquid liner in the shade dark blue. You guys know how much I love this liquid liner, the formula, the color, the component, everything. I'm going to have Queen Nubia Cosmetics, the website, linked in my description box. If you guys have not checked out her brand yet, please do yourself a huge favor and go check her out and get yourself some fun things, because she has so many beautiful products and they're so affordable. For my mascara, I used the Berry M feature length mascara that my beautiful friend Linda from Instagram sent me. I thought it was appropriate, if I'm maybe talking about all these amazing friendships, to include a makeup product that a friend sent me from Instagram, someone that I've never met, who was so kind and sent me so many fun, wonderful makeup products. Linda, thank you so much. I love this mascara. It is gorgeous. And for my lips, I use the Queen Nubia Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the shade Denise. I love this shade. And because I didn't use any like pinks in my eye look, I thought, you know, this is kind of the pinky red component of the flowers that are in that image. So this is why I chose this shade to go on my lips. And I love the Queen Nubia Cosmetics liquid lipstick formula as well. I just am so happy that I found this brand. I have a few of these liquid lipsticks and they are just my absolute favorite formula that I have ever used in my entire life. Now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette that I used for my Instagram Makeup Queens challenge today in this video. This is the IBY Beauty Enlighten palette, and I really liked using this palette. I use this shade here called Haiku in my transition area. I used this shade here called Spa Day in my outer V and kind of deepened up the transition area with that as well. I used these two shimmers, Third Eye and Wealth. I loved both of the shimmers. They're gorgeous. They have kind of a duochrominess to them, and they just went on so beautifully. They just kind of melted onto my lid, very foily and metallic looking. I love them. And then I used this shade here called Moonstone in my inner corner and then under my brow bone, or on my brow bone, under my brow. I think that is so beautiful. It's just very brightening. It's very beautiful. And it almost kind of has a little bit of this periwinkle blue kind of shift to it a little bit when you look just right in the light. And I really like this palette. I'm really glad that I got this. This shade here, this was the only true matte that I used. I don't know that it's like the favorite matte I've ever used in my life, but I do think it blended out really nicely. It's a very nice pastel periwinkle blue. And I really think that if I had to choose favorite shades out of this palette, I mean, I know I didn't use all of them, but the shimmers, hands down, they're amazing. And that's how I felt about the Desert Vibes palette from this brand too. The shimmers were so nice. So yeah, I'm really glad I got this palette. And I think I did a pretty decent job of matching this color story within the image of the door that I chose. You guys can be the judge of that. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I just feel very fortunate that even though I had a very toxic friendship in my life, that door that I put up against female friendships was literally blown off of its hinges by all of these amazing friendships that have come into my life, not only through YouTube, but through Instagram. It truly means so much to me. I can't imagine my life without these wonderful people in it. And I just feel so blessed and so honored to have you guys as my friends. Thank you so very much for everything that you do for me, and I hope I am always able to return the favor. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed, you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. I also cannot wait for the next Instagram Makeup Queens Challenge. But in the meantime, you guys take good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you guys again very soon. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.